The CC is pretty strong. You know, they're called the line little mini snare is pretty strong. It's a good counter initiator. And we do actually see the Zyra ban. I'm not 100% convinced on that one, but better to get rid of something you don't know how to deal with than to try and face off again in a single elimination best of 3.
I mean, right now they had about, what was that, maybe 4 or 6 minutes to go ahead, review the replay, see why Zyra's OP, see how to beat here, formulate a plan, and actually use it effectively. Probably not going to do that in that short time span. You're right, they just got to ban her out. And Zyra, oh, do you hear that? That banging in the background?
I do, yes.
Hmm, that might actually be a problem. Hmm.
What is it? Is that on my side or your side? It sounded like
No,
someone hitting
that
with a
is on my
hammer.
side. There is someone doing construction on the house next door. Huh.
Ah, well,
Let's see if that keeps up.
get get your webcam up. We'll see how the construction's going. While that's going on, take a look at the remaining bans. Cassidon, Kennen, Karthus, and Malphite being removed from the pool. So it does mean that Sona is available. And I wonder if we're going to see her being picked once again for this particular series.
Chen was banned out last game, so now first pick for Mouse. Not no real surprise there. Malphite and Kennen. Was Malphite banned last game?
Uh, Malphite was, in fact, yes. And I believe Kennen was as well, actually, if I recall correctly.
Kennen was too.
Yeah, so first pick. Oh, Shen is available. That's right. I've seen that Dax just hovering over Shen for a brief moment, but opts to lock in the Morgana instead. So will Megashock take that ninja?
They do have the option right now. There could be a plan coming out from Mouse. Just leaving Shen open means that they have something in mind, most likely. So the Shen could be baited out. They could just have a nice little gank strategy just to obliterate Shen, make him never useful. They might have a plan, and that would not be surprising. I don't know. Yeah, they're not. They're picking Vladimir for Megashock. They don't want to fall into a Shen trap.
Yeah, and Kautsard now, maybe thinking about Vladimir. Vlad's a champion we've seen a lot more over here at EU, but it does tend to be a Vladimir Kennen combination. So, Kennen being banned out, that double AP and that good AoE damage, not necessarily the best, or they're losing that strong beneficial and that strong partnership. But Goat's now 2 seconds left on the clock. Who's he going to lock in? It does actually lock in Nocturne at the very, 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 very last second. So Megashock taking all the time that they can.
That could have been a really good random. Like a really good random.
It's a possibility, but I think the mathematical odds just aren't in the random's favor. All right, so we do see a couple more picks now needing to come the way from MouseSports. While we're waiting for them to jump this or lock this one in, anybody that has just joined us, this is the IPL Elites. We have 16 teams who are taking part in a single elimination best of 3 tournament. The top 8 are going to qualify for the IPL Elites, and it's going to be a rolling event. It's going to be taking place, running, I think it's a 3-week cycle. Prize money at the end of each Elites cycle or period. And anybody that gets knocked down, so the guys that lose these first rounds will drop down to the IPL Challengers bracket. And if you want to take part in any of the IPL events, if you want to go to any of the big IPL lands, you need to be in these challenges or the elite circuit to be able to earn yourself a spot in the invite. Have I missed anything about that, Studio?
Nope, sounds about right.
And we do see so Soraka and Maokai being locked in. MouseSports getting the tree again. They did Deidre and did so well with Maokai in the previous game. Every time Megashock played a bit aggressively or dove beyond the ranges that they should have, Maokai was there to punish them for it. And Ezreal Sona being locked in from the bottom lane. We've seen Ezreal Sona lane a couple of times before, and Team Black used it against Curse EU to dominate the bottom lane a couple of days ago. So I'm very excited to see how that one plays out. And we don't see a traditional AD carry from MouseSports at this exact moment in time, but I do expect Mama to probably change from Karma to somebody a bit more regular in that AD role.
No, Renekton Soraka bot lane. It's OP. It looks like, okay, they're going with York again. They're going for another traditional AD carry composition. I think they're just confident with the gameplay from Candy Panda, which is, not surprised to be confident with that. So I do like the Maokai pick. It's going to be effective at A, ganking Vladimir up in that top lane. Now, they have the ability just to kind of murder him whenever. B, They've proven it's effective before and will also be effective against someone like Nocturne. You have that knockups on a short cooldown. That spell shield won't be able to block everything in terms of a CC. You can chase down Ezreal. You can go ahead, really just keep the enemy team in place. And Megashock, what is their AP mid? Like they have to have an AP mid who can deal with those ganks and be still be effective. So they have to find a champion to deal with Maokai, which is not easy. He's one of the best gankers in the game, and Anivia just might be that character.
And Nivea, of course, a champion that very difficult to play. But what I've noticed, or at least was leading up to DreamHack, a lot of AP mids over here, Europe side, were practicing the bird a lot in anticipation of coming up against the Frog and Nivea. Um, and many of the AP players are now really increasing their skill with the champion. Landing the good crystallized wall into the flash frost into the frostbite combination. It's really quite a beautiful series of skills to spectate because they really are quite difficult to land in time. That flash frost travels so slowly through the air.
And like it's odd to say it travels slowly, but it catches people off guard, and that's kind of what you rely on. So I do like the Anivia pickup, just in general, like in the entire scene in Europe and United States. She's gotten more and more common. Before it would be like, all right, Anivia is being played. This means Scar or not Scar, Froggen, and occasionally Scar actually has descended from the heavens to give us his Anivia and win the game and show us all how good he is. But no, it's no longer the case, and I like that now. I like that Anivia is just kind of something you see because A, it means people are better against her, and B, it means the players themselves are just better at using her. So, I mean, Anivia, I like her, but if she gets like totally camped early on in the game before she has, the wall, before she has her AoE to just mow down creeps, this could really be a strong snowball. And Daedrian has shown he's really good at ganking.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he's going to actually camp out. In actual fact, the previous game, they camped out middle lane quite a bit as well, picked up two very early kills against Karthus. So if they can do something similar against Morgana, that's going to help out a lot as well, especially if they can give Anivia that, or if they, sorry, against Anivia as Morgana, give themselves a good advantage. Take a look at the masteries for Kaltod, 16-13-1. Again, even on Anivia, using the same mastery page that he did in the previous game.
Sorry, I was mid sneeze right there. And
I was just saying, take a look at the rune page for Anivia, 16-13-1. So opting to use that same partial attack, partial defense, and summon a spell single point in utility. So interesting to see a slight change from our standard mastery pages.
I kind of like it. So Anivia not relying so much on the execute factor. Karthus, you could argue maybe you need the 21 in offense just to finish people off. Anivia, it's all about sustained damage with her, so you don't need the execute. You're not trying to burst people down. You are trying to burst people down, but you're not trying to like finish them off. You're not clean up crew. So I like the 16 point choice. She's also gonna be very effective at trading in lane and just taking some damage, dealing it back. Which getting tanky on Anivia is pretty popular nowadays. Not quite as often as the Warmog's Frog, and haven't seen that super often lately. But it's still build up some defenses on her, make her a that much more effective.
Yeah, very true. So just taking a look through the rest of these mastery pages, nothing too exciting or off the wall in terms of the rest of the champions. What do you think in terms of composition now? Ezreal Sona are going to have a very strong early game. They outrange Vayne significantly. Candy Pan is going to rely on those tumbles to really dodge the mystic shots and try keep away from the poke that Sona is going to be putting down. But if they don't contain Ezreal and Sona, I'm a bit nervous. A fed Ezreal in the mid game could be scary for MouseSports.
So that bottom lane is actually devastating from Team Megashock. So in Ezreal, they have so much poke that Vayne just cannot deal with. Soraka's going to be able to sustain, but Steve is going to have good poke. Batman's going to have good poke. They just can both constantly bully around Candy Panda. The one advantage they have is like that Steve's debuff to physical damage with her W power cord, the healing power cord, is not going to affect her true damage. Like that's her advantage. Everything else about that bot lane is incredibly effective against Vayne, but a good gank from Dedrion that could set up the entire lane. If Vayne gets a little bit ahead with that Soraka backup, she can just kind of keep poking down, keep using Tumble to reset her auto attack, and avoid the Essence Flux attack speed debuff and like be effective. It's kind of odd, like it's not common, but it will be strong if they can get a little bit of advantage.
All right, so we'll have to see how this plays out, how the lanes actually go, and whether or not our Pulse Fire Ezreal is going to be able to actually pull ahead. And I tell you something, Studio, the skins are awesome this time round. Prathana letting the side down with his skinless Yorick. I am not impressed.
I mean, you can at least get Gravedigger Yorick. Of course, it gives him a hat. Not my favorite hat. I know it's the hat from Slash from Guns N' Roses, but it should stay on Slash. Is what I'm trying to say with that. But still a hat, which is better than no hat, as I've learned from various video games in the past.
It's all about the hat, isn't it?
I mean, well, LA Noir. Let's just say that when you got into like a fist fight, you could tell you didn't do very well when your hat fell off because it means you got hit. So it's like clearly the hat means something.
We're just waiting for Dax to connect right now, but yeah, nobody else wearing a hat on Team Megashock, so I'm nervous for them. No hat power, I'm afraid. And yeah, guys, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. This is the IPL Elites, so whoever loses this is going to drop down to the IPL Challenger Circuit, and the winner is going to advance to one of those 8 teams that's going to be playing for, I think it's $7,000 prize money in total, if I recall correctly.
I can go ahead and try and look that up because I have the cornerback again, so might as well do something while I'm waiting for the game to load.
Awesome. Dax has finally connected. So a decent amount of gold up for grabs from the IPL Elites right now. And of course, it is going to be the new rotating qualification bracket to make it to those lands. We should be into this game very, very shortly. Throw your comments up on chat, guys. Who do you think is going to win? Take a look at the champions. Take a look at the compositions and see who you think is actually going to be victorious. Have you got those numbers there, Studio?
I don't actually know how to navigate the IPL website.
Check the link. I actually sent it to you a little bit earlier.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yes.
I'm bad at navigating websites. I'm the guy who's like, where's the login button? Then I just, like have to tab through everything and find every link. Okay, so actually Elites is only a $3,000 prize pool, so $2,000 goes to first place. But the big thing is going to be setting themselves up to enter tournaments later on from IPL.
All right, so there we go. My bad, I got the numbers wrong. So part of the $3,000 prize pool, which is still decent to look at, and we hear that mystic shot armed coming from Fnatic Batman or Pulsar Israel. I'm not even sure who that's meant to be, actually.
Fnatic Batman?
Well, Batman, nevertheless.
Oh.
Batman's got all the tools and gadgets, and this time round, the champion and the skin in particular sort of suits the hero of Batman.
Kind of. A bit too much voice, I'd say. Batman's gadgets are a bit quieter. But, I actually said like this is a Pulsefire Ezreal team, and by that I mean every member of Team Megashock has the Pulsefire Ezreal theme. So I like that quite a bit. It's like, you know what? It's like we're gonna ride PFE, but we're gonna ride it in style. Everybody gear up, get your PFE on, so we can roll around as the Pulsefire Ezreal team.
And a lot of aggression this time round. The Flash Frost comes out from Anivia, really nicely done through the wall, but not managing to actually land on anybody. And interesting, when you consider game number 1, both sides camped their jungle, neither side moved out, and this time around both teams invading quite deep, in fact, for MouseSports.
And it looks like Team Megashock might just lose this exchange because it looks like Goats wants to go to his blue buff. It will be happening. Unfortunately, this means red buff will be taken with little response from the rest of Mouse. Like, they're going to take Wraith, they should switch to red buff immediately. We do have Candy Panda and Dex still up there. Okay, they're retreating now. I was about to say, it's like, are we going to have a lane swap?
Well, we'll see how that one...
We are! Awesome.
Oh, that's going to make a lot of sense, actually, because Vayne Soraka against Vlad at low level. The movement speed buff that Candy Panda is going to get moving towards Vlad. Silence from Infuse. They can put a lot of damage down onto Vladimir without reply. We do see that Sona and Ezreal were trying to steal red buff, but Profana just walks up, says hello, and that gives away the goat. Excuse the pun, but now Team Megashock know that Yorick's coming down to 1v2.
So what did we say before? It's like, man, I'm scared about the bot lane from Team Megashock. Well, guess what? Vladimir is in so much trouble top lane because just the sustained damage. Just watch top lane. Look how much damage he's taken. And actually, the Adrian is here. They're going to go for the dive. It's a level 1 dive on Muppo. He goes down low. Are they going to finish him off? Will it be enough? Yes! Dax, will you die? I'm sorry, Dax.
Dax does go down. Save that flash for 1 second too late. But yeah, it's execution. So you don't mind going down because there was no kill credit given to anybody else. And Vayne first blood at 2.5 minutes. That is very, very worrying.
Megashock got nothing, unfortunately. Like with that Vayne death. Oh, Goats actually does catch up Momo. This is what they need in response, but no, he gets the root off, walks right on out of there. So this is not the start Megashark wanted. They wanted that early lane win against bottom, but unfortunately Vayne's just gonna go crazy down there. Prathana with his teleport, he's set up to actually 1v2. So it's not gonna be super effective. 1v2 is never easy for anybody, but now he's not in like the worst spot in the world. He's in an okay spot.
And of all the champions that you're going to put in a 1v2 situation, Yorick is probably one of the better ones. The sustain from that Omen of Famine is just really, really high. And the fact that he's got the AoE slow from the Omen of Pestilence, that's obviously going to help as well. But the range from Batman's going to be very good. If he can continually land those Mystic shots, it could put Yorick a bit on the back foot.
I mean, right now Prathana's just like, he's underneath the turret, but it's actually scary for him to farm here. Because if those creeps turn on him, because they sometimes do when you CS on the turret, that will just be like really bad for him. And look at the poke coming out on him. He's almost dead, actually. He needs his Omen of Famine right away just to sustain underneath his own turret. But he's getting levels, and that's what really matters in this lane. It's not so much the experience. Yorick doesn't need that much gold, as we saw before. But he really needs the levels to be effective.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to have a fed, farmed Vayne from the top lane, the only reason Prathana is there with Yorick is to Omen of Death on Candy Panda and run away with it.
I mean, like, in the high-level scene, Yorick's considered just the character who is almost always good in any circumstance. So it's just like, he's going to be effective no matter what. Yeah. I really like what Mouse has done this game.
Well, let's just see how it pays off. They've already got an 800 gold advantage. Let's see how those two top lanes have sort of been crippled. Duskbringer comes out from Mama. Is going to use the Unspeakable Horrors, but Mama's just going to walk away with that black shield. But Yorick on the bottom lane, 14 CS to Vlad's 10. So it's a bit too early to be looking for the advantage between either side. But yeah, the longer this game goes on, the more fed or the more farmed Vayne becomes, the more worried I'm going to be for Team Megashock.
I really like how Mouse is doing this. Like, they're trying to get Muppo to push out. Like, they're giving him some CS. But actually, it looks like we do have another gank on the top lane. We already have Edrian. There's no escape from Muppo. He gets rooted. He's stuck in place under the pool. Full speed of the dive.
He's going to go for the dive. One tumble plus the Silver Bolt's proc is all the Candy Panda needs. Dax executed one more time. Does get involved in the assist at the very least. And quite luckily for Candy Panda, the lane is now actually pushing in their favor. So as long as Candy Panda plays this one, a little bit slower, can actually make Vlad come back in an even less or an even more difficult situation. There is pressure on this bottom lane. Duskbringer goes out. It does actually miss. Exhaust is down on Prathana. Batman is the one that's tanking the turret. Eats a whole bunch of turret hits. Is actually going to go down to the tower. Nocturne picks up the kill credit. Now Morgana's joined the party. She does have Soul Shackles. Steve is in a lot of trouble. Ignite, Black Shield, one more Dark Binding. Not even needed, in fact, but one dead Sona, and Mouse with a 4-1 advantage right now.
Actually, no mana on Counter or Goat, so Momo just kind of keeps pressuring bottom. 1,500 gold lead right now in favor of Megashock, and unfortunately, the way it seems to be going, it doesn't look like this will stop growing. Candy Panda does take a decent amount of pressure in the top lane, though. It looks like Muppo has some free time now that Dax died once again. Oh, got teleported into the bot lane. Counter's actually in a lot of trouble. Has to flash on out of there. Was bound by Morgana. Does escape, so.
And now in the top lane, all that pressure. Ignite goes down to Candy Panda, so Astral Blessing, it is on cooldown for another 6 or 7 seconds. Candy Panda's going to go down. Dax should be able to pick this one up. There's 5 seconds on Infuse. There's no Star Call. Dax is forced to run backwards, and unfortunately, no Star Call, no cooldowns means that Vayne dies, and he's unable to pick up that kill against Vladimir, unfortunately.
So Vladimir actually kind of coming back himself, so both Yorick and Vlad not in the worst spots he'd normally expect them to be because of the 1v2 situation. CS actually in favor of Ezreal too, but Vayne does have those 2 kills. And I was going to put this up before, that turret's 1 kill from Killing Spree.
Yeah, the turret is on a killing spree against Sona, so Soraka rather. So not only is it a killing spree, it's a targeted killing spree. But great comment. The banana is weak with Dax.
If Soraka gets a kill in the turret, a nice little sound effects play to show that she's gotten her revenge. But actually, Momo going against Goats right now. Goats' spell shield doesn't last long enough though. Gets rooted, gets nuked. He's almost down. Oh, there's danger with the follow-up. Does pick him off. Oh my god, this is Goat's only level 4, Daedrin level 6. Megashock is falling behind in levels, that's the scary part. The gold difference isn't that big. 1600 gold, that's what we saw from Megashock before. They grew it though, but Mouse had experience. Mouse wasn't so far behind in levels. Goats isn't even close to 6.
Yeah, Goat is just about to ding level 5, and Daedrin is about a third of the way towards level 7. So those tower dives, very, very strong. But Megashock realized that they're on the back foot, and they've actually done something about this. They have put Vladimir in the bottom lane now to face off against Prothana's Yorick. Up in the top lane, we see yet another dive. Twisted advance under the tower means Sona goes down. Candy Panda opting to use that Hunter in the Night, or the final hour ultimate rather. And going to get that additional movement speed, additional attack damage, and a very easy kill for them. Currently sitting 2-1-1, Vamp Scepter and Berserker's Greaves, in comparison to the Double Dorans and Boots 1 for Batman.
Right now, Candy Pan is a little bit stronger. Has that red buff too, so they're going to the next dive. Batman looks like he will go down. He tries to nuke on Candy Panda. Is it going to be enough?
A lot of damage from Batman. The True Shot Barrage plus the Arcane Shift keeping him alive. He's now got that red buff up. Dax is now forced to back all the way out of there. Daedrin may actually go down. Goats has decided to stick onto Dax instead. So we are going to see Daedrin going to be able to recall like a ninja. Dax is 6 seconds left on that ability. Decides not to infuse Nocturne. I do not know why Infuse had not gone out. It would have been the silence, maybe even prevented that unspeakable horror. And unfortunately, Dax gives away another kill. This time around, the kill credit and the gold actually goes to Nocturne.
The tower not able to get the chain killing spree it so desperately wanted. The gold difference is lower though. I like the play from Megashock. It's what we saw work so well last game for both Mounds and actually Megashock in a few situations. They wait for the gank, and when the gank happens, they just counter it. And generally counter ganks, unless the person getting ganked gets immediately blown up, like if they just killed Ezreal in a second, that wouldn't have worked. But when you're underneath a turret, when you're in a good defensive posture, and you come in as backup, it's really hard to react to it.
Yeah. And take a look at the gold at the moment here. Yorick 2,200, Vlad 2,200, Vayne 3,000, and Ez 3,100. So all of that swapping, all of that lane pressure, it's been completely balanced out. And the damage that Ezreal got off underneath that turret was amazing. The True Shot Barrage hit both Maokai and Vayne. Then he used the Arcane Shift to just displace himself and delay the auto attacks that were going to hit him. So really, really well played from Batman, and proving to come out of there and make the best of a bad situation.
I really like how he actually did that. Like, what does he do in response? He sees the gank coming. What's he like? All right, True Shot Barrage right away. It's like, screw it. I'm not going to try and escape. I'm not going to try to do anything. We have to kill them now. It was the right call for that situation, and it was just pretty cool. I have to quote chat a bit really quickly. So Cowtard actually saying that right now Dax is playing with 200 MS ping, which would be the cause of some of his executes because they were a bit short on the flashes. Unfortunately, his dad is currently sending an email, which is killing his entire house's internet.
Lovely. I have also just turned on the colorblind mode for everybody on chat. I do apologize about that one. MouseSports have now asked if they're ready, and Megashock saying they're ready as well. So we should get this one underway. Email too strong.
Like slow, I guess.
Email's too strong. Okay.
That's actually a quote. Email's too strong has actually been said in the chat. Email's currently high tier in blocking Dax's internet. Right now though, like just the game overall, the gold lead's closed. Goats almost level 6. Despite their disadvantages, they're doing well. They're coming back in a few situations. Dax on level 4 actually, but Moma level 9. Moma's scary right now. We've seen him just kind of like pop in every now and then and just be like, "Hey, I'm gonna get this kill now. Sorry." So he's gonna be able to keep doing this. 76 CS versus the 60 from Anivia, and he's been roaming. He actually only has Boots 1. He has not shopped yet, and we are almost 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah, take a look at the farm as well. Ezreal 75 CS to the 50 of Vayne. So the lane swap, even though it was initiated by MouseSports, Megashock maybe, I use the term very loosely, but using it to their advantage a little bit better. Admittedly, Vayne did pick up 2 kills from some very nice tower dives. We do see Hemoplague, Ignite, Transfusion, Sanguine Pool, Tides of Blood is not actually enough. Prothana is going to be able to get away. Now Daedrin comes in, a Vengeful Maelstrom, a very, very good flash into Tides and Transfusion means that Vlad picks up the kill onto Yorick. But well played from Almopo. Showing a
Well played
very
from
strong
Malphite.
Vladimir play.
Yeah, and well played for Daedrin. Like this has been the series of counter ganks. Like the counter ganks actually seem to be the thing that controls this game overall. Once somebody comes in as backup, generally the team like someone will die for both teams most likely. And I like Elmumpo's play right now. He's effective. He has a lucky pick and that heart of gold just to go ahead and keep himself relevant. So normally, like you go for revolver, Vladimir knows he's not going to reliably have a chance to get in your creeps. So why do that? Why take that chance? Just go ahead, buy the defensive items that you normally see on other top bruisers or just characters in general, and just be effective with that. He doesn't need the revolver because he can't rely on it for the most part. If he does end up in that 1v2 one more time.
Yeah, and of course, talking about the GP10s, double GP10 on Maokai, GP10 Soraka, standard. But look at Nocturne, opting to go for an Avarice Blade and that Heart of Gold. So slightly different itemization coming out of Goats' Nocturne.
Average Blade on Nocturne is just one of those things where it's like, alright, Philisttone's nice, but I have enough sustain with my passive. I really just need faster jungling, which will come from an Average Blade. It's pretty cool. It's not like the most common thing, and it's not super effective for team fights because you don't want to rely on that 12% chance to crit. But it's just a nice thing to have. It'll make his jungling faster, and it's mostly for the GP5 that he has the item in the end. So I like that change, or I like the decision.
And another dive in the middle. Kaltod with an amazing crystallized wall. He does eat a dark binding in the back. Daedrin's going to go down to the paranoia, and Kaltod's not even going to get egged from that rebirth. But so well played with that Anivia. Lands the wall, puts down the ultimate, and then follows it up with the Flash Frost under the tower. Immense play from Kaltod.
Do not power dive Anivia as Maokai unless you have like 5 people to back you up. It was a lesson learned there. Just very well played. Goats actually gets put underneath the turret. It's not even like moving. Just not expecting it. This turret should go down, I believe, but overall, like, Kaltod really showing his strength as Anivia right there.
And take a look at Candy Pen in the middle lane here. Opting to use the ultimate, throwing up final hour, and just to push down the tower. So first tower of the game goes to Team MouseSports, and Mama with a beautiful dark binding. I don't even know if that was just blind or if they actually seen Anivia moving into the grass, but really nicely done.
Looks like bot turret will go down in response. Actually, it already has. Yorick immediately ulted by Steve. It looks like he might go down, but he does have the ultimate up.
He's going to be carrying. There goes the Vengeful Maelstrom from Maokai. That's actually going to keep him alive. Profana chasing his way down to 70 hit points. A flash from Batman. He's low on mana. One Mystic Shot might do the job. It gets blocked by the Ghoul. Batman's now the one that's in trouble. Profana actually comes in with a very cheeky Omen of Famine. Gets a little bit more hit points. Batman is looking for this kill. Another Ghoul from Profana, and he actually picks up the kill credit. Prathana with another great play, and it's just been awesome play after awesome play from both teams right now.
Actually, top lane, we once again have that lane top. Elmumpo taking a lot of damage. Candy Panda does cleanse the Ignite from Elmumpo. They may not be able to kill him, but I mean, just both teams constantly mixing things up, just sending characters all over the place. And it's just, I do not know where anybody's going to go. Oh, come on. It was so close to going away. I do not know where anybody's going to go in this game in the next minute or so. Dragon is up. I might expect that to happen, but turrets are just falling down for both teams. Both teams just pushing hard, trying to get just any advantage they can. Unfortunately, they're both really good, so it's not really snowballing in either direction.
Yeah, 700 gold difference between these two teams. And, 2 towers apart, 3 kills difference. It's way too early to call, but Vayne is going to scale harder than Ezreal is going to, and a Vayne and an Omen of Death Vayne is going to be very scary for Megashock to deal with once we get 25, 30, 35 minutes into the game. As we do see now, Batman has moved up into that top lane, along with Steve, the Batman-Steve combination that we've been seeing all day long. Currently 1-2-2, opting to go for that Trinity Force first with Ezreal. His counterpart Vayne, only 86 CS at this point in time. BF Sword and the double Doran's Blades. Let's actually have a look at the rest of the lanes are doing. Yorick 62 CS to Vlad 75. We see mid lane 122 to 110. So small advantages either way. And our junglers 44 and 47. And that global sound effect from Pulsefire Ezreal yelling in the ears. I didn't even hear what it was. If it was something activated.
No idea. I think he might have leveled up actually, gone to the next level of Ezreal. We do see Dragon being taken right now by Mouse. And I mean, I like this play. They knew Ezreal and Sona were top. They rotated Vayne back to bottom. That is why you have your bot lane near Dragon, just because it's easier to go ahead and pick up and defend with two people rather than just the solo top laner. So they rotated bottom. They knew that Ezreal and Sona were going to rotate themselves. Picked up a Dragon in that rotation. I'm just going to say rotation one more time because this game has been having a lot of rotations.
And that's why the farm is so low as well. You know, champions have been moving up and down, in and out, swapping lanes, pushing together. And, you know, something that does need to be pointed out, Dedrian's tower dives with Maokai have been very good, bar for that one as against Anivia. Mama is looking for a Dark Binding. If Batman misses, is going to be able to just arcane shift out. Does manage to eat the Dark Binding to the face. Now Dax is going to come into the party. Paranoia has been used, but that's up in the top lane, so let's quickly flick over there. Yorick is now on the back foot. Hemoplate goes down from Vladimir. Prathana is very, very low. Hemoplate's going to pop. One more transfusion, and Tides of Blood's going to pick up the kill. Mama eats a Flash Frost to the face. Here comes the final hour from Candy Panda. He's going to carry on chasing. And slow is very good, but the Black Shield is going to stop him in place. A flash from Sona, actually. Candy Panda stops, turns around for 1 or 2 steps, and then decides to back off. So the single kill for Team Megashock up in that top lane. And managing to stay alive in that bottom lane. Very nice arcane shift from Batman to get himself away from that soul shackles of Morgana.
The blue buff gets stolen as this happens. Top lane is also being pressured quite a bit in terms of tower damage. It's just, this game is just equal. Like, no team has that direct advantage. Both teams can initiate fairly well with the Morgana binding, with the Maokai root, and of course at the same time we have a Nivea wall, the Nocturne ultimate, and Vladimir just running in there and pressing R. So both teams have really effective mid games. They have really effective initiation. Candy Panda, even though he's behind on CS, Vayne can be a little bit behind, and just because of how Final Hour works, is going to be super effective anyways. So like both teams are in great spots, and I don't know who has an advantage. I can say, all right, 600 gold in favor of Mouse, but that's nothing. That's a little more than Doran's Blade, and we're 17 minutes in the game. This Doran's Blade will not win the game for either team, most likely.
And look at Ezreal's shoes. Boots of mobility on Ezreal.
What?
That is not something you see ever. We do see Nocturne maybe in a little bit of trouble. Dedrian sees Goats there. Up in the top lane, Vladimir and Prathana going head to head. But Boots of mobility is, he wants to get away from Vayne. He wants to get away from Maokai's Twisted Advance. He just wants to keep running. So,
yeah,
interesting one.
It's entirely defensive, just like to avoid these strong Daydream ganks. And actually, this is going to be a 4v4. This is going to be huge. The teleport is up from Prathana, though, so it's a 5v4 in favor of Mouse if they do initiate it. And they don't. I like that. They assumed something was up. Like, why don't we have anybody nearby? We saw him in this area. And actually, the fight is started on Daydream, taking a lot of poke in response. The Dark Binding is shielded by Goats, and the fight does not actually occur. Oh,
A really, really good Dark Binding from Goats, in fact. Vladimir is taking a lot of punishment from Prathana up in this top lane. Prathana using that Omen of Famine and that Omen of Pestilence, which very near to max, and just harassing him down. Batman is going to run into Mama, is going to reply with some decent damage of his own, actually. But that single Dark Binding and Tormented Soil trunks him down to half health. Steve is going to be trying to top him up, trying to bring him back up to half health. Another great Dark Binding, this time round, catching Coutard in the bush. And this may be the engagement we're talking about. Did the steal actually go down? Did manage to steal. He flashes over the crystallized wall. Dark Binding going out, and very nice steal from Didrian with that smite.
so keeping blue buff off of Nivea is one of like the bigger priorities in the game. There is no Chalice on Cartot right now. There's a reason we see Chalice is because Anivia without a heavy influx of mana is just gonna fall out and just run out of mana and be useless. So I like the blue buff steal. Now Counter can't really fight for quite a while. He needs to go back to base and get mana first. He needs to, re-sustain, and then if they do get into a longer push, like a longer siege, Anivia without blue buff, she can't really defend for that long. She could defend quite well for a short time, but when she's out of mana, it's like it's going to take another base retreat before she can actually be effective.
Take a look at the items right now. Hextech Revolver finally completed on Milpo. It looks like he's working towards that Wall of the Ancients. He does have that Heart of Gold and that KG's Lucky Pick ticking away. Manamune and Giant's Belt finished on Yorick. In terms of our AP mids, Zonya's Hourglass very close to completion for Mama. Rod of Ages and a Meki Pendant for Anivia, so we can assume that's going to become the Chalice of Harmony. Bloodthirster on Vayne and Boots of Mobility on Ezreal. So interesting item choices there. You know, a Vayne that you build as a hyper gear, you build into that super late game. Interesting to see bloodthirsty when you consider that there's a Soraka on the same team.
I mean, the Bloodthirster is all about just surviving longer in team fights. Soraka, she's going to help quite a bit, but there's a lot of magic damage. With Anivia, with Vladimir, the armor is not going to be a huge boon to her. And you can safely assume Vayne will be ignited, and I don't know if she'll actually use Cleanse on the Ignite as much as possibly a CC from Goats, maybe even the Sona ultimate. So I like the Bloodthirster pick. I just like the ability to 1v1, because they don't have reliable defense for Vayne right now, and the sustain will be quite impressive.
Yeah, very true. Batman is going to be recalling. We just seen that unique now custom recall on the new skin, which is really, really awesome. And Vladimir actually opting to pick up the Negatron cloak, so maybe going to be going for an Abyssal Scepter first before completing that Wota.
Which makes some sense. I mean, right now, Cowtard, most of his damage is going to be AoE, so that the AP or spell vamp from her skills will not be that effective. It'll be okay. It won't be useful, but not amazing. And just overall, Abyssal Scepter just with the MR for the enemy team, which is not particularly high. No one has that much magic resist except maybe Maokai. It's gonna like be a counter to the Aegis that they've picked up on Mouse, which I like. Keep the MR low, keep the damage effective on Anivia and Vladimir, because that's gonna be their main source of damage. Ezreal's effective, but it's gonna be 2 versus 1 in terms of damage output.
And while all of this
does have teleport up.
Teleport is going to come in. He has joined the fight. There goes the fault line. Mama is going to use the Zhonya's Hourglass. Soul Shackles is going to tick on 3 members of Megashock. She's going to be forced to flash away. It's going to survive for a few seconds before Batman picks up the kill. Dedrin shuts down Anivia in the river before Vayne manages to decimate Vladimir. Now they've turned their attention to the Goat. Goat has gone down, and Batman all the while has been left alone to free farm. Candy Pan is going to be chasing down, trying to use that passive movement speed buff, is going to be looking for Sona, and this fight has gone very, very well for Mouse. Tumble forward, going to be looking, is going to get the stun, that is huge. One more Silver Bolt proc is going to cleanse away the exhaust, and manages to pick up the team ace before Candy Panda gets away with 200 hit points. Do they have enough time for an inhibitor? Maybe, no, maybe just the tower.
Just the turret, they might be able to pick up Dragon. They have to watch out though, because at this point, Megashock might be able to go ahead and take Baron if they see that Miles is still low, which they are at this moment. Are you on live, by the way?
I am, I think, 1 second behind, maybe. So, there we go. That should be on live now.
Thoughts, I think. And when you come back from pause, you're like a second behind. But, I mean, that fight right there, the focus from Megashock, it's just not there. We saw this last game, we're seeing this now. Candy Panda's Ghost died before Candy Panda, but before I say anything, we actually have a counter dragon coming out from Megashock. Can they catch anybody?
No, not unfortunately. So, Dedrin manages to pick that up. In terms of gold, Dax is going to be caught up for a little bit. He's going to use that Astral Blessing on himself, pick up some additional hit points, and get away to safety. But almost every single member of Team Mouse with nearly 2,000 gold in the bank after that last engagement.
I mean, a full-on ace. A Dragon being taken out, that's a lot of gold right now, and unfortunately Megashock did not pick up Baron as a response, so they're behind now, and you don't want to be behind a team that has Vayne. They have the team to protect it, they have Black Shield, they have Maokai to reduce the damage she takes, they have your Ghost in case everything does go wrong and she does die. So Candy Panda right now is going to devastate the enemy team. Has enough to pick up a Phantom Dancer, has enough to get pretty much anything he wants. Except maybe a not Guardian Angel. Like, he can really build into anything and be so much more effective though.
And Yorick opting to go for a Warmogs. You know, Warmogs and the Negatron Cloak, so a slightly different build in terms of what we see from Yorick. Abyssal Scepter has been completed from Vladimir as we anticipated, and Vayne has still not gone back to spend that gold. So, what are we going to see out of Candy Panda when he eventually recalls?
So looking at his gold right now, he is at 2,300. I think it's actually going to be a Phantom Dancer because he's just short of it. And the reason we don't see a Frozen Heart on Yorick is because there's very little just pure auto attack on Megashock. They have Ezreal who went Triforce, so no Infinity Edge, meaning that he's going to be more dependent on Mystic Shot rather than his auto attacks. So I like the Warmogs pickup because there is no top bruiser, there is no, I mean, there is Nocturne I guess, but Nocturne is also kind of a spell-based champion. So they don't need the auto attack speed slow yet. That will be an issue later on, but when it is, they should have the Frozen Heart by then, especially if they keep up this advantage. And right now, like both teams, they're in a position where they want to be cautious about Baron. Neither team wants to commit too hard. Mouse is ahead, but we saw that from Megashock last game. They were ahead, but not by enough. So there is no clear snowball. Like if they go for that Baron buff, the Baron debuff does increase the magic damage you take, and if Megashock initiates on that, Elmopo and Cowtard will just kill everybody.
And I'm a bit worried about the team fight potential for Team Megashock. You know, if they manage to get a good crescendo and, you know, a good crystallized wall from Anivia, they stand a good chance in the fights. But the damage that Morgana is going to put to a team, the tank ability that Maokai and Yorick offer, and the fact that they're going to have to deal with 2 Veins, I think I'm a bit worried for Megashock. You know, they have to land all of their abilities and on multiple champions to really be able to pick up a team fight win.
They might actually just need to catch somebody out before a fight, which is kind of hard because they don't have a traditional catch team. They have a lot of AoE, though Anivia's can be really effective at that. Unfortunately, too, Vayne can tumble through Anivia's wall, so the wall is not going to contain Candy Panda. They don't have as enough Vayne control as I'd like to see against a team with Vayne. They did not really shut her down that much early. Ezreal does have a CS advantage, but that's not what's making Vayne strong right now. What's making Vayne strong is the kills and just the global objectives being taken like Dragon.
And Mupo under a lot of trouble right now. Pestilence goes down. Famine and Omen of War. We do see Team Megashock coming up. Vayne is potentially alone. Paranoia goes up. Paranoia's going to dive all the way forward. Finally, Mupo is going to go down. A very, very nice Ice Blast is going to hold him up. The True Shot Barrage manages to miss everybody. And Batman's the one that's in trouble. Infuse, Dark Binding, Tormented Soul. A great flash from Mama. He's going to push forward. Soul Shackles is going to lock up only Coutard. Crescendo is going to lock up both Yorick and Morgana. Now Coutard's the one that's in trouble. Is he going to be able to flash to safety? No, the damage from Vayne is too high. 3 kills for Mouse, and that's going to mean Baron Nashor.
I mean, they have to take it. It's too easy for them. Unfortunately, just Megashock, with Almubba being caught out, they kind of won in 1 versus 1. Like, Goats tried to initiate on the Candy Panda, but she got through the wall, and Goats was immediately caught out as Almubba died right next to him. So he had to retreat. As it happened, Batman tried to poke through the wall. Unfortunately, he got caught out by an infuse from Soraka, preventing his arcane chip. And then they just, kind of chased down Coutard because his wall was on cooldown. They just didn't have enough.
Yeah, and it was a great wall, actually. Coutard put a pretty good crystallize down. It shut out a lot of members of MouseSports, but nobody else backed off quickly enough. And then, exactly like you said, they just got caught off 1 by 1. So another good fight for Mouse, and look at the gold. Everybody above 1,300. Morgana with 2,600 gold to spend.
That is terrifying. I believe she's just short of finishing in death cap. Only needs about 240 gold if she wants to go for the hat, which I believe she does. So I mean, right now, Mouse, they're in a position where if they play safely, they should be able to take this game. They have the better AD carry. They have good backup for that carry. And like overall, their team is just going to be more effective at this point, especially because Almubba, he doesn't have the tankiness you'd want to see from Vladimir. He's pretty beefy, but with only 2,400 HP and like not massive resistances, he's just not going to survive for that long. Coutard doesn't have that much damage. Only a Rod of Ages really for his damage and offense. And unfortunately, Anivia is starting to reach that point where you need to get a lot more AP. Like Froggen builds, this is where like all of a sudden an Archangel stat finishes, and he's like at 1 billion AP out of nowhere.
And take a look at Prathana. He's opted to go for a Force of Nature next. Doesn't even need that additional armor. You mentioned it earlier, there's not a lot of standard auto attack damage coming out of Megashock right now. So he builds Magic Resist, he gets the movement speed and the health regen. As if it wasn't difficult enough for Megashock to win these fights. Now they're going to deal with a Warmog Force of Nature Yorick.
And I mean, Warmog's Force of Nature, he's a Force of Nature. Like, he's going to be so hard to stop. And unfortunately, Megashock, like, they got to find a way to deal with. But look at their team. Steve only level 9. He doesn't have anything but a maxed out. Actually, none of his skills are maxed out. It's almost 30 minutes in the game, and there are no skills maxed out for Steve right now. Like, that is a position Megashock is in. I know supports are under level normally, but that's kind of ridiculous.
And take a look at this. Yorick versus Vladimir in the top lane. He's going to go to the fight. Hemo Plate goes out. Almubba uses that Sanguine Blade to stay alive for a little bit longer. Will most likely get taken out from these ghosts. In fact, he's going to flash to safety. But Prathana has got that teleport available, so he can just siege that top tower down, teleport to the bottom lane, and make it a 5 versus 4 for both interior towers.
I mean, Dedron's actually set up for it. They want to go for this tower dive. They can do it because they know Vladimir can't back them up, and Prathana can. They don't have the ultimate from Prathana, but like they don't need it at this point with the Baron buff and just how ahead they are.
Actual fact now, we do see another pause coming up. Let's actually see what happens right now. Vladimir has finished that Will of the Ancients, and something that should be pointed out.
New emails.
Zeke's Herald actually picked up by Soraka earlier on.
So I like the pick. It's all about Vayne right now. Morgana does a lot of damage, but this team it's the Candy Panda team. Don't forget to fast forward like a second.
All right, let's fast forward ourselves back up to live. So there we go. We do see that Prathana has managed to push the top lane all the way to that inhibitor turret. And now on the bottom lane, a bit of long-range poke. Momo is trying to set up that Dark Binding through the wall. If they get some vision with his next creep wave, we might see Dark Binding into Flash Soul Shackles. But Flash is not available, unfortunately. In actual fact, take a look at Momo. How cheeky is that? Coming up from behind, but Ezreal is away from this. So this is a 4v4 with a Vayne and with Megashock having no AD carry. Dark Binding is so close to Steve.
There's nothing to interrupt Prathana from teleporting to that bot lane. Ezreal's trying to adjust the bot lane, but he knows Prathana, if they do not have Ezreal down there, or if they do have Ezreal down there, he's just going to go ahead and push down that turret. Daedrin's actually caught up position. He does have his splash up right now, so he might still be able to get out of here. And it's going to Shirley's right away.
Yeah, Shirley's to run away. So Vayne's going to pick up that tower. Yorick is putting some decent damage up on this top tower. He is completely ignoring Batman. Batman landed a couple of auto attacks, that Essence Flux, and look at that Dark Binding, Tormented Soil. That's just deleted. That is literally looking at Ezreal, pressing the delete key on your keyboard, and removing that Pulse Fire from the game.
It looks like Yorick is the bane of Ezreal.
Yeah, so strong. Daedrin is going to look at setting up the Twisted Advance. He's going to hold Vladimir in place. Now they're going to commit to the spot. That's a very good Vengeful Maelstrom. Yorick is going to pick up the first kill onto Vladimir of that team fight. He's going to carry on chasing. In the background, final hour of Vayne. Unfortunately, doesn't manage to land the stun with that Condemn. Megashock Almopo has actually left the game. Disconnected at 30 minutes, knowing his team is going to lose, knowing that they're going to be able to push this one down. There goes another Vengeful Maelstrom into very nice Condemn from Candy Panda. He's just going to tank it all day long. And Mouse with a strong performance in game number 2.
Yep, game number 2, really just taking control of the game at the very beginning. It was so close for most of it, though, actually, once it reached the mid-game and the lane swaps just got crazier and crazier. They do take it at the 31-minute mark. Mouse looking so effective, going to go to the next level of the Elites. I believe they've secured their spot for next season, being in top 8 now. Right now, though, Team Megashock back to the challengers. We'll see them in a few weeks, but should be good.
That's it. So we do see that MouseSports have defeated Team Megashock, so they will advance into the next round. I don't know if the bracket has been updated just yet, but you can actually see it on your screen right now. So that means Mouse will be facing either Moscow 5 or Eclipsia, depending on who wins their round of 16 game. Myself and Studio will be back very shortly, as we are going to be shoutcasting MYM taking on Curse EU. The game is hopefully going to start very soon. I can see that the captains and players are busy chatting right now, so I'm going to stick some adverts up in the background. Give us a few minutes to figure out exactly when we're going to come back, and don't go anywhere. Another best of 3 is coming your way shortly.